everybody, I'm Jen,
And I'm Tammy.
and they call us Woo.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to talk about a topic that both Tammy and I have been hearing people talk about quite a bit lately. Um, and it doesn't necessarily mean the thing that a lot of people think it means. Um, Fire is not raining down on the earth right at the moment. We're not going to die in a fiery storm of solar flares, but there's a lot of things that can happen and a lot of effects that people feel or think that they feel. Some people don't believe in it with solar flares. So today we are going to talk about solar flares and the energies that go along with that.
Mhm.
So, um, I think it's really interesting because Tammy's like, I don't know why this pops up as can we die from solar flares? And I was like, fiery balls of death.
Yeah.
And I used to think that actually, I used to think that solar flares meant that there were these giant fireballs in the sky that were falling down to the
Oh,
earth. And that's
okay.
why people were so panicky and upset about it. That was a long time ago. I've learned differently now. But so, Tammy, tell me your experience with solar flares and the effects of them.
Well, so firstly, I can't say that when I was younger, I really had any idea what I didn't pay attention to any of that stuff. So I don't have a lot of experience of being aware of it,
Mhm.
but I am a little bummed out that I missed the huge northern lights on display that you could see everywhere, even
Me
from the
too.
more populous area that I live in that has tons of light pollution.
Mhm.
Um, but it doesn't matter because people could see them anyway. But the funny thing, so I know that people have been saying that they've experienced, like, I have some friends that totally keep track of that kind of stuff about like what's happening astrologically and what's happening with the energy. And we were talking about the Schumann resonance and all that other stuff. Um, but we're saying like they really feel like it affects them as far as like their energy going up and down. So the funny thing with me is I was really tired the first night that the northern lights were on display. And in case anybody didn't know, the northern lights were so brilliant because of the solar flares and the solar storm that was happening. um but apparently like all the way down to the Bahamas and stuff they were visible, which is pretty cool. But I missed it all, and I
Me
want to see
too.
Northern Lights so bad. I've never seen that in my life, and I woke up the next day and there was all of these like posts and stuff with these brilliant photos, and I was like, "What? I can't believe
Uh-huh.
I missed it." But then I tried to see him the next couple nights and I couldn't, but that's fine. Um but the funny thing is I was looking into it a little bit more and I was really tired the whole weekend. That apparently is one of the things that can happen is that you can feel a little extra tired. I initially chalked it up to something else, but I'm like, wow, it certainly could have been part of that. So sometimes people say that they feel physical effects. A lot of the people that were talking to me about it were kind of like how people talk about Mercury retrograde. They're like, well, that was really
Mhm.
weird, but it must have been that solar flares. But I did experience some technology disruption too.
Yeah.
Like connection disruption over that whole like weekend of flares and stuff too. So um anyway, I just thought it was kind of interesting because there's the energetic component, which we know is directly connected. Like when we talk about energy, that's more than just like how you feel. It's also, or like
Yeah.
your energetic body, it's also like really things that are happening in the atmosphere
Yeah. Yeah.
energetically. And from what I understand, the sun, it has a massive amount of energy and is very high vibration and frequency. So it these flares are delivering really doses of really high energy that can be a little disruptive to the way our bodies normally operate because we're not
Yeah.
used to operating under such conditions.
Right. I mean, you were talking a little bit about technology, and I always have issues with technology. So like maybe I just have solar flares around me all the time. Like just they live within me. Just solar flares that come out and screw up energy on the computer. But with everything that's been going on, I know that I've had a lot of experiences with different different things that people think are symptoms from solar flares, and I don't know if that's what they are for me. Like I've had a lot of migraines lately that have been popping up. I've had migraines for the last week and a half. And I get ocular migraines, so I go blind, which is not good.
It's
um
crazy.
it's super fun. All of a sudden you just can't see what you're doing. You can't type on the computer.
Does not
um
sound fun at all.
it's not really fun. um but now that you brought up solar flares and we started talking about it, I was like, oh, I wonder if that's what it is. Like my body is having a hard time with all of the energy of that. And
Mhm.
then I've been so flighty, which I'm a little bit flighty some days anyway, but I've been really flighty lately. We had talked about something and I was like following up, trying to be on the ball with everything and trying to do these things. And you're like, oh, don't you remember this happened and that's not actually happening? And I'm like, oh, I was super on the ball. Totally forgot that I already did that. And so it's just been really weird things have been
It
happening. Like
happens.
I'm not 100% present all the time, and like my brain just feels a little bit off. But yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why
So
this just popped into my head, but so I've heard on and off that some people believe that there could be beings whose existence is on the sun, and others believe it's not possible for
yeah.
any life to exist on the sun. But if their if they had physical bodies and their physical bodies were able to be at such a high frequency or energy, do you think that they could live, like there could be beings that live on the sun?
I want to be a sun god. Or a
Right? I
sun
don't know why that
goddess.
popped into my head, but I'm like, I
I don't
mean,
know if
in
living on the sun would
reality,
make you a sun goddess, but like,
well, I automatically, of course.
I mean, I'm just assuming that I'm an earth goddess right now. I don't know.
But
I don't know
yeah,
where that came from.
you know what I'm saying? Because like we know
Yeah.
that there is so many different types of races, so many different types of bodies, whether they be
Yeah.
energetic or otherwise, that I'm like, well, it would make sense that there could be
Yeah.
some
Well,
type
do
of
things
body that would be able to like be in resonance with that.
do things live in volcanoes here? I
Oh,
don't know the answer to this.
I think okay.
I feel like
I'm
I
gonna
should
say
know
I've
this.
heard something before about there's some type of bacteria that can live there, but please don't quote me on
See?
that one.
Because if I mean, if there's things that live in volcanoes here, then you would think that people, beings could live in that type of environment too.
Right. Right.
And
Or
now
if
both of
they
us
would
are like,
even
huh.
if they would even choose to form as like a race on that type of planet.
Maybe they would just be like a lava plasma being where it's like all flowy and like wherever they go, it's
Yeah.
just like this really hot lava-y,
Or no
oozy.
like physical body at all and just like a constantly super high energy, high frequency being
Yeah. Yeah.
that was just constantly like exuding this massive amount of energy.
Yeah. I feel sad for all the people who aren't actually watching our video because every time I start talking about something weird, I'm like, ooh, let me do all these weird motions and these weird faces. You guys need to go back and
I'm
look at
sure
my
it's
my
coming through in your
plasma
voice.
lava.
I'm sure they can picture it. It's kind of just like when you read a book, right? Sometimes it's just as fun to come up with your own
Yes.
like picture in your head of what somebody it looks like and is doing.
Well, I have this picture in my head. Who is the cartoon character that's like the bright red lava rock guy that was in cartoons, I
Oh,
think in the 80s, maybe. I don't
the
know.
from the Fantastic Four, are you thinking?
Maybe, maybe. Was
I
he lava? I have no idea who this is, but that was what was in my head,
That
except
sounds
for much
vaguely
more
familiar
flowy and
as
like,
part of the
yeah,
Fantastic Four.
bet he lived on the sun.
Maybe.
He's the cause of solar flares.
I totally
Tammy.
didn't mean for this to take a turn this direction, but it popped into my head. And now I'm like, okay, let me quick look up the Fantastic Four and just see who was in it.
I didn't
Um,
know how we got on this topic. I didn't even know it was your fault, Tammy.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Actually, you just led us there, and I continued with the weird imagery that's in my noggin. Like, I get weird pictures in there. I don't know. I'm really curious about solar flares though, above and
Molto.
beyond. Molto?
Molto was a supreme warrior for the subterranean race known as lava men.
Oh, see, it
There's a
was
lava
lava.
guy in Marvel. Yeah.
Okay, good. I
You're
thought,
not making that up in your head, and it
oh,
wasn't
good.
um mutual memory that didn't really happen.
Well, I'm glad to know that Molto possibly lives on the sun in a solar flare
Right? If anyone
area.
could.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how hot it would be there. I'm very curious. I'm gonna have to do more research after this to figure out like how hot would I have to like if my energy was primed for that, what would I have to withstand to
Right.
be in that space? Like if we're at this temperature here, what is the temperature in an area of the sun that would be emitting solar flares? We'll figure
I
this out.
know
Unless you
that they've done stuff like this before. So it says the hottest part of the sun at its core, temperatures top 27 million Fahrenheit,
oh geez.
15 million
That's a
Celsius.
little bit of a jump from 100 degrees.
Just a little bit.
What was
Just
it?
a little bit.
27 million?
Yeah.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
I don't think my body can withstand that yet. It would have to be, I would completely have to be in energetic form and
Right.
completely prepared for that.
Yep. But it would be kind of fun in, energetic soul form to just like visit if
So,
that was a thing you could do.
well, I mean, you could do remote viewing, you could do like out of body, like astral projection. Um, I wonder now, now I'm gonna be like, let's meditate and astral project to
So interestingly, lava, I looked that up, is significantly less hot than the sun. That ranges between 1300 and 2200 degrees Fahrenheit. That is
oh,
significantly cooler than the sun, which is
so
interesting.
Malto, what's his name? Malto?
Molto might not be able to live on the sun.
Oh, poor Malto. We just killed him off. Sorry, Malto.
Anyway, sorry. Sorry to take that dive in the other direction.
That's okay. Everybody gets silly us today. That's fine. It's the solar flares. We'll just blame it on the solar flares and the
Absolutely.
previous Mercury retrograde.
Yes, totally. That is 100% my problem.
Yes. Well, okay, so when we were doing some of our, well, research for talking about solar flares, I was doing some reading and they were talking about heart issues that can
Mhm.
happen because of the solar flares. Some people think that it can happen, some people do not believe that it can happen. But they were bringing up things like epilepsy, heart attacks, arrhythmia, um cardiovascular, um decreased function. Like there were so many different cardiovascular things, and then the epilepsy and the headaches and the dizziness. There were so many symptoms.
Hmm.
And I was like, I'm very curious about, I have so many curiosities today, you guys. I am very curious about the incidence of heart attacks, stroke, heart
Mm.
related issues in emergency rooms around solar flares. Like if they see an uptick in that.
Yeah.
If we have any doctors or any like cardiovascular doctors or nurses, anybody who works in the ERs, I would love for you to jump on and be like, hey, like this is what I saw. It doesn't
Yeah.
need to be anything like official. You don't need to make an official
Well,
statement, but
it's like how, according to research, the full moon doesn't have any correlation with extra ER trips. But if you talk to any ER doctor or nurse, they're like, yes, it does.
they're like, yeah, there was a guy howling at the moon yesterday.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I used to work for the school district, and we would notice a significant change in kids around the full moon. Like kids going absolutely berserk. It was like they were all on so much candy. That's how they would act. Like it was Halloween where you just loaded them up with sugar and then set them off. They were all like all over the place. So I totally believe that the full moon does crazy things in children
Yeah, which
as
would
well as adults.
totally make sense then too, right? That anytime there is an astronomical significant thing that happens, it's going to cause some type of shift in energy and the particles that are in our atmosphere and all of those other things. And then knowing that we're energetically connected to all of those things,
Yeah.
that is significant enough to cause a shift in the collective as well. That would only
Mhm.
make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would only make sense.
Well,
I can't say that
I
I felt any. I feel very bad that you get migraines like that because those do not sound fun. I can't say that I had anything other than the exhaustion. Um, but it was enough of an exhaustion to recognize that I was really tired. I just didn't make
trade
that
ya. No,
connection
just
right away, right? I just didn't make that connection right away that it could be something like that.
yeah.
But some of the people who've talked to me about it were experiencing like not the type of emotional fluctuations like some people report on like the full moon and Mercury retrograde, but more like going from high to low energy levels. And of course that's going to affect your emotions too in the way that you're
Yeah.
interacting with everybody around you. So it wasn't like they were experiencing these like big huge tough things. It was more they're just like, "Ooh, I'm kind of all over the place right now."
Mhm. Yeah. Well, and I get lightheaded with like full moon and new moon.
Mhm.
I get I get a little bit woo, like more woo woo than normal. I get a little bit like woo lightheaded, and I'm just a little bit flighty and I can't find my words and I get a little bit weird, but I've never actually sat down and taken the time to think about how solar flares affected me. People would talk about solar flares a lot and I was just like, "Meh, okay. Yep, there's solar flares going on." And then they'd
Mhm.
start talking about all the other things that were going on astrologically. And like I would go, okay. I don't know a lot about that. I know enough about it to be like, okay,
You know
that's
enough to
happening.
get yourself in trouble. Isn't that the
Yes,
saying?
exactly, exactly. Yes. And so I would go along with it and just okay, cool. That's what's going on. That's helpful to know that when that happens, this happens. But with solar flares, I never really paid attention until probably the last year, maybe year and a half. I started noticing that I was getting a little bit more lightheaded and having some other weird little symptoms, but I've never thought about my migraines before. So now I'm
Mm.
very curious if, again, more curiosity coming out of Jen. It's a good thing I'm not in that past life where I was a cat, because we all know what curiosity did to the cat.
You're totally gonna die being stuck in something for sure. Like somewhere you were not supposed to be.
I'm like, Tammy, what are you saying? I'm not coming to see you when I come up there. Like, where are you sticking me?
Someone's gonna be like, Jen, why were you there?
Tammy told me to do it. She
And just
stuck
see
me in
you
this
like
closet.
reaching out for something that you weren't supposed to have.
Oh, yes.
Sorry. That's
That would
not
be
how
me.
that's not how you're gonna die. Um, well, yeah, continue, please. Sorry.
Well, no, that's totally fine. I was just thinking that I never put two and two together before, and now I'm gonna have to pay attention when the
Hmm.
next set of solar flares comes to see if I start having some symptoms of my migraines.
Yeah,
Because this has been the
that
most
makes sense.
intense last week and a half of ocular migraines. It's been
Yeah, and you
almost
said
every day.
as much, and you hadn't had anything like that in a very long time.
Mhm. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I
Well,
don't know.
now I'm kind of curious in larger picture stuff too. So, um, uh, we know that the collective humanity, Earth or whatever, is going through this like ascension process. So, if there's a connection there, what do you think if there's a connection there between some events happening at a larger intensity as things are shifting? Because right now we're kind of in the
Mhm.
phase of like I might have said before, like little butterfly like rubbing its wings in the cocoon before it comes out into this next phase. And there's a lot like some of the events that are happening feel a little bit more intense,
Yeah,
but it's got to roll into that larger picture somehow, right? Of
yeah,
like larger ways that things are shifting. I'm kind of
yeah.
curious about that too.
I'm getting some nudges like, "You need to listen. You need to listen." And it's reminding me that yesterday when I was meditating, what was coming in while I was meditating, I was having a sleepitation where I got up to meditate and then I fell asleep during meditation. So I only had bits and pieces of my meditation, so I don't always remember all of it, but then it'll sometimes come back. And one of the things that kept coming up was that the some of the ocular migraine stuff is energy that's been coming in. Like there's just this massive amount of energy that's coming in, and my physical body can't handle receiving all of the energy. So it would make sense that some of that could be an
Hmm.
excess amount of energy that's coming from solar flares and like electromagnetic field
Hmm.
changes and
Well,
different
because
pressures around my
everything
body.
the
Yeah.
earth is the earth is ascending along with humanity,
Hmm.
so it's like it's
Yeah.
all shifting, so that would
Yeah.
totally make sense.
Yeah.
And it would make sense too that as more people become like awakened to that thing, that there's more of us able to experience and kind of handle that as it continues to
Yeah.
shift, which is pretty interesting too. But
Yeah.
it is kind of, yeah, it's kind of fun to think about because it doesn't seem scary when you think about it in the sense of this like major shift and transition that's happening. But if you're looking at it from another perspective, some of this could seem really scary, right? It could seem like these major
Yeah.
catastrophic events. And some people do believe that, things are being led to ultimate destruction. But my understanding is different, that there's not a destruction happening. There's a shift and change
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. My slight smile when you said destruction was because I was like, "Oh, it's because I'm getting locked in some place because this is the end of." I'm like stuck. I had this picture when you said that earlier of me in like lava.
What?
We're going back to lava, like reaching out of the lava because I
Oh.
wanted to experience going into the lava to see what it was like because I'm curious. You
That is
know?
not where my brain went with it. I was thinking of you getting like trapped inside like a little hole in a tree or something like that, where you're trying to like see what's inside of
Oh
it.
gosh. I'm that little kid that tries to sit in the swing that's too small and knows it's too small, but it's like, "Oh, I can get out. It'll be fine." Ah, no.
Yeah.
No. No, my brain went to lava. But that makes me think of when I was younger, I used to always tell people that I want to experience everything. Even if it's something bad, I want to experience everything just once because I want to know what it feels like. And when I was a little kid, I remember, and this is going to sound super morbid, but when I was a little kid, I always was fascinated by what it would feel like to drown or suffocate. And it's not that I wanted that to happen to me,
Mhm.
but I wanted to know what it felt like because I wanted to know what the sensation was in the body so that I could correlate what that actually felt like. And so I would go through all of these weird situations. So even talking about the solar flares and like what it's like on the sun, my brain is going, what would that feel like in my body? How would my body feel if I was there? And then I'm like, oh, I would be burning to death. That wouldn't be pleasant. But my brain is still going, what would that sensation be like? So when you said you're gonna be so curious that I'm like, oh yeah, that would be me. That would be me
Mhm.
going somewhere because I want to know what that experience
Well, the
feels
funny
like.
thing is it doesn't like you saying that didn't phase me like it might have at one point because you're literally just describing how things work, right? Like that's just
Yeah.
experiencing
Yeah.
everything. I mean, our souls are here forever. There's lots of
Yeah.
opportunity to experience different things and anyway, before we go
Yeah.
down that rabbit hole, I understand what you meant in a very not morbid way. Like you didn't
Good.
want to end it all. You didn't want to be obsessed with that. It was like you were just very curious about what experiences are out
Yes.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think I'm a very tactile person. And so I think of things in a very tactile manner, which this just made me think of something else. My hand gesture is like a chomping thing with my hand for those who are listening. Um, but I'm a very tactile person, so my brain thinks in a very tactile manner. If somebody tells me a texture, I immediately picture that texture in my hand so that I can feel it.
I've got a
And
good texture for you.
ooh,
There's this store that has these just random things that I go to sometimes, and they used to have these big tubs of ball bearings of different sizes. And my
oh,
husband always gave me such crap because I immediately went there and started putting my hands into all because I couldn't help it because I wanted to feel those like smooth ball bearings and like put your
yeah,
hand all the way in there and feel what it felt like around it. Or you remember those old like pin things that used to be like these flat headed pins that you could put your hand in
oh
one
yeah,
side
yeah.
of it? Like those kind of textures, I totally get it. You're just like, oh, I can't help it. I just
I'm
want to
trying to
feel
think.
that. But
What
if you
are
ever get
those
an opportunity
seeds?
to put your hand in especially like the smaller ball bearings, it feels so cool.
I'm trying to think of what the seeds are. It's not chia seeds. There's a brown small seed that when it gets wet, it gets really, really slippery.
Hmm.
Um, and it's a seed and it's so lovely. Like grains and stuff. I love to stick my hands in those and feel those because of the tactile nature of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I I don't know how we got down this path with our solar flares, but this is an effect of the solar flares. That is what I'm going with. That is what I'm going with.
Totally. Me too. Are they even still happening right now? I don't
I
know.
have no idea.
I think they might be
By the
done.
time this airs,
It
they
will
for
have
sure
been,
will not
yes.
be.
But still interesting to have conversations about it. And I think it's fun to talk about broader picture stuff and how it's a good reminder of how connected we really are to everything. There
Yeah.
might be people who would like roll their eyes and be like, "Oh yeah, it doesn't actually do anything." But I mean, everyone would agree we're very connected to everything around us. There's a very symbiotic relationship on a lot of different levels,
Yeah.
but it's reminded me for some reason too. There's some things you can look up on YouTube and stuff like that where you can listen to the frequency of the sun, which is really interesting too. Like,
Ooh, now I want to listen.
yeah, it's super. I don't really know like how they did that, but they can record everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is really interesting frequency.
Well, so I'm very curious about this because when I do some of my cosmic realignment sessions, I can hear like the movement, the planetary movements around people. Like I can hear the sounds. Like there's certain sounds associated with certain movements in my head. I
Mhm.
don't know if that's what they really sound like because I'm not there to know.
Right.
Um,
Well,
but
sometimes it's symbolic so you understand it, but that is
yeah.
interesting to
So
might
I'm
be.
curious. I might need to go and listen to that and see if that's like actually the
Mhm.
sounds that I'm hearing because it's very it's a really interesting tone. Like there's very specific tonality that happens when I'm looking at different planetary alignments within people's energy fields. So I'm
Well,
totally
now
gonna
I'm
look
curious
that
if
up.
there's other planets because when I listen to different frequencies, I can identify different parts of my body, usually like in my head, that are affected by it by what
Hmm.
feels like an internal vibration.
Yeah.
Um or like a pulsing kind of.
Yeah.
So now I'm wondering like if they have other planets and if I would feel it in different places
Hmm.
based on the frequency of that planet. Hmm.
Yeah.
This is all very fascinating.
Oh, we have so many things to look up
I
now.
know.
We're gonna have to link to our thing. We're gonna have to link that video of the sound of the sun. The
Yes,
sun?
I got to
The
try to
sun.
find that
Yeah.
again. It's been a while since I looked it up, but someone told me about it and so I just looked it up and I found one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm so curious. I'm so curious, you guys. Again, curious. I'm gonna get squished in between planets. Like I I don't know. I'm kind of
See, I
excited about
told
it
you
though.
you are so gonna the end of this life is gonna be you getting stuck somewhere because you even talked about getting squished between planets.
Well, and I love being squished. That seems really weird, but I am it's one of those tactile things. Even when I'm in the car, sometimes I pull my seatbelt really tight against me
Mhm.
because it feels good to be squished. And I know that it's like a it's a soothing technique that is
Mhm.
used when I worked for the school district. It was one of the things that we did
Oh,
with some
what
of the
is the
kids. Like
name
they had pea
of that
pods
movie?
that the kids could lay in when I was a kid and they would go and you lay inside and you just close this pea pod around you and it squishes you. It's kind of like a weighted blanket, but a pea pod. And I
Um,
kind of feel like the planet squishing me would be like that,
Planet
only much
Squishing
more
would be like that.
intense.
Oh, what is it? Temple Grandin. Have you watched the
Oh,
Temple
yeah.
Grandin movie?
Yeah.
Like that
Well, I
contraption.
haven't watched that movie yet, but
Well, she
I
came
know
up
who
with a
she is. Yeah.
contraption
Yeah.
based on what she saw was happening with cows at her, I think it was her uncle's farm,
Mhm.
um, being held in place in order to like soothe them. So she came up
Yep.
with her own contraption to soothe herself that basically like squished her to
Yeah.
calm her
Yeah.
down. And when you were explaining that, I'm like, that sounds just like that.
Yeah. No, I actually had a couple of clients who knew her and they were on the autism spectrum, on the Asperger's spectrum, and they knew her and so they would tell me stories sometimes about things and yeah, I was like squishing machine like
Hmm.
because yeah.
You'd
I,
probably like the movie.
mhm.
It's a really interesting. I mean, it's hard to completely sum up somebody's life in that amount of time, but it's a very interesting movie. And from what I understand, Temple Grandin was pleased with the performance and stuff because it very
Oh,
much
cool.
did reflect the way that she thinks and her
Yeah,
mannerisms and stuff like that.
I forgot about that movie. I wanted to see that. I'm gonna have to look that up now too.
It's good. I
I
like it.
should have a list. I should have a list from this episode.
Who knew that we'd have, well, both of us would have so many things to look up after this.
To be curious about.
And it all started with solar flares. So I guess we should
Exactly.
be grateful. Thank you, solar flares, for opening a whole world of knowledge to
Yes.
us.
Yes. I am so glad that we talked about this because I was not expecting this to be as fun of a conversation as it was today,
Right?
but it
Yeah.
is. I'm excited.
I'm glad we have people who are willing to go through all these tangents and stuff with us and find
Yeah.
find the value in all the many subjects we sometimes hit on in our conversations.
Maybe we need to have a tangent warning on episodes that we go on really big tangents. We should just put like a big T
If
at the
you're still
beginning.
listening to us at this point, you're probably well aware of what we do.
Probably.
But that's why sometimes I have a hard time remembering the things that we've talked about in just regular conversation in these episodes. But it's also part of what I love about this is because although we do try to give valuable information, this is how we talk. And this is why we wanted to do this in the first place, because we just love having these types of conversations. And
Yes.
so far we have feedback from people that they also enjoy them. So it's good.
Yay! Yay! So, what were the things that I asked about? If people work in emergency rooms, I want to hear about cardiovascular events during solar flares. I would love to hear one of your curiosities. How are you going to get stuck in this lifetime? That's the question.
Stuck?
Yeah. Where are you going to get stuck? Oh, I have so many weird pictures in my head right now. You guys, I should just like do a weird video one day of the images that pop in my head, because right now I have an image of being birthed by a cow, which is very weird. Like, I don't know why I'm being stuck
Really?
there, but I'm being stuck there. I'm being birthed by a cow right now in my head.
We talked about too many different things and it all mishmashed into your brain.
I guess. I don't know, but it's a very interesting feeling from what I'm experiencing in my head. So where are you going to get stuck? If you work in an emergency room, I want to hear about all the cardiovascular stuff that happens during solar flares. If you work somewhere where you get to experience all of the things in the full moon, I would love to hear that. What other things did we talk about, Tammy?
If there's anything in here that you were like, I would love to share my experience with this, just go for it.
Yeah, if you want to be a lava man one day.
Yes.
We're good with that too.
Are you curious about living on the sun? You know.
Yeah. Do you want to be birthed by a cow? I don't know.
Well, thanks for coming along on this ride with us today, everyone. And with that, we will see you all next week.
Yes, moo. Bye.
Bye, everyone. If you want more woo, please feel free to check the links in the description. Of course, we love hearing from you, so keep letting us know all of your lovely ideas. Have a beautiful day, our wonderful woo mates.